Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage Podcast with me, your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork. This is a podcast where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. And this episode of the Drop Your Baggage Podcast is brought to you by Brienne and Company. It is a jewelry boutique right here on the island of Kauai, locally made from Brienne like herself. She makes durable, minimalist jewelry that has genuine pearls, local shells and sea glass, natural gemstones, precious metals, and of course quality handcrafted designs. You can always catch her beautiful jewelry on her website brienneandco.com, and you can also check out her IG, her Instagram that is always popping with her page at Brienne and Company. And now I love to introduce my special guest today, Giovanni Rodriguez. And you guys, he grew up in Chi-Town, that's right, Chicago, but moved to Puerto Rico when he was in high school. But he established his first business of many in Florida. So he's always back and forth to the States. He helps e-commerce and automation companies gain more revenue. That's right, money, y'all, in his business called GR Marketing Advisors. And he has an e-commerce business himself called Fashion Lovers Wholesalers. Check him out. And he's also passionate about music. He loves music. He thinks it provides amazing value, and it's a huge way to influence the people, especially those young people out there that need that positive influence. And most of all, he is married to a beautiful wife for the last 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Giovanni Rodriguez. What's up, Giovanni?
Yes, Charles, I love it, man. The hype man of the century, man. The hype man of the century. I love it. Khalid gotta watch out. DJ Khalid gotta watch out, Appreciate you, man. Great intro. Appreciate it.
No, man, you definitely deserve it, man, with everything that you're doing. I mean, you're a person that inspires me with all the different things that you've been doing. So let's start from the beginning. What inspired you to begin that first business in Florida back in the day?
Yeah. So I went through a journey like a lot of people who may be watching right now went through, right? I was classic. My mom, my family was like, study, get that bachelor's, always on top of me with, study. I really appreciate them because they really, came through. I had a lot of support while I was studying. I was from a lower middle class family, so I wouldn't say I was poor. Thank God. I was able to, have food on the table. I didn't have a car for like my first 2 years of university. I took a bus, but it was still good because my grandma gave me some money. I put some other money that I got, and that's when I bought like my first car. And then I got into corporate right after I graduated. Was in corporate for almost 10 years, where I was on different levels of leadership, team building, different divisions, learned all about business, learned about the 4 areas of business, customer service, team building, profits, how to manage profits, and how to manage your costs as well, and tying everything together on running a successful office in that time, right? Because I was in charge of an office, and I was in charge of different offices during my tenure there, but I learned what it took, because they really were putting it in your hands, and it was like running a business. They were leaving it up to you, and you got paid off the bottom line. So it was a really great experience, right? I went through the fire, right? I was like, those diamonds in the rough where you have to go through the fire and make your mistake, get back up and keep learning. And that's what I did during 10 years almost in corporate. Went through that, learned a lot. Like I said, great experience, had its ups and its downs, just like everything. And then I realized that I was building someone else's legacy. I was constructing and putting my energy, time, sacrificing time with my family, friends, individuals to build someone else's dream. And I realized, wow, it was really one of the people I credit for it a lot is my brother-in-law, who he had the same epiphany when he was working with somebody else. He's a highly skilled individual in the automation space, and really intelligent guy who knew what he had to do to be a very top performer and was a big time performer in his field, and people looked for him because of that. His company was growing and being successful because of the work he was doing for them. But then he realized, little by little, sometimes the corporate world isn't as fair as we think, right? And yeah, there's some opportunities for some, but unfortunately, in other cases, you are limited in some aspects, even if you're talented. So he looked and saw that, decided to branch out on his own. It went great, and he started seeing potential in me. Started telling me, "Hey, Gio, I think you've been in the company for a while. Have you ever thought, I'd support you in any way I can, but I think you should think about entrepreneurship." And I did it. It's been working out for me. It's not always easy, but the rewards, he said, are way greater than, when you compare it to the corporate life, where you have everybody else controlling your destiny, controlling your life, basically, with schedules and all of that. Mm-hmm. So it was an eye opener for me. And I realized that I was like, wait a second, this is true. It's interesting. I didn't think of this before. I just thought about the old school, work my way up and have the picket fence and I'll be, and then I realized, you know what, maybe I can achieve more. Maybe I do have that potential to go branch out my own great things. And that's when I did decide around almost 3 years ago, around 2.5 years ago, to start. While I was in corporate, I actually started, first started off with like my own e-commerce store, which was like a men's jewelry store, then kept, learning the ins and outs of, how to do Google ads and how to set up a store on Shopify. And I went through that whole process, which is one of the things why we help in my agency now. We help people build out, stores and get it running and get it to the levels they wanted to get to. I just found it interesting as I kept learning. And then that was a great experience. So then I said, you know what? I can really do something with this. And I kept, all my free time was going towards that. Towards just, it was hard in the beginning, and it is hard, but a lot of times, a lot of things that are worth it in the end will require sacrifice. There is no reward without sacrifice. So I was realizing that. So I kept pushing along. I kept investing a lot. I think people don't realize that there's a you have to invest in yourself. You got to bet on yourself. And that's what I did. I kept investing in myself. I would buy, courses. Some were good, some were not so good. I would, connect with people. Some people were open. Some people were not as open to share, but it's all learning. I've always been a person to be optimistic and not let things, bring me down. So I just kept pushing towards it. And then finally I decided to take the leap, leave corporate. And, sometimes it takes drastic situations to make you conduct and do drastic decisions that can change your life. Right. And that's what happened to me. My wife had a situation in her health happen where now I had to make a decision on was I going to keep sacrificing time with her to then conduct and keep going in this ladder that I don't know where it was going to go really, or was I going to take the leap, finally have that control over my time to be with her in that situation and also build up my book of business and my knowledge and just networking and all that. So I decided to take the leap, and thankfully, it's been a crazy journey along the way, but I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful because now I have that full control, and I've been able to meet great people, like you, Charles, and like all the other people that I've met along the way, networking and building my business and just connecting with people all over the world. So it's been a great experience, and that's what's got me here so far. I started off with the agency, and then I've continued in e-commerce doing all of this, right? Because that's what started it all. But then I saw the opportunity with, the knowledge I was acquiring, because I was in sales before in corporate. So now I was like, wait a second, I could use this experience from sales that I did with team building and all of these, objection handling and all these things, tools that I got from corporate now, that, which is why a lot of people, I want everybody who's hearing understand it. That's why people say that you don't, you have to understand that every experience, has its value, and it's going to be worth something, even though you don't understand it now. All those experience and all those hard times and situations you go through will become tools in your journey along the way. And that's what basically happened with me. As I kept going through corporate, I kept learning, and all those tools I was able to bring them along with me. They can't take that away from you.
Mm-mm.
Whatever you learn along the way, they could try to put you down. They could try to, be unfair, because life is a lot of times unfair. They could try to, maybe somebody else moves up and you knew you were maybe, better qualified, or maybe they got the contract and your business didn't. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you're taking those situations, how you're learning from them, and then realizing that nobody, only yourself, has full control over what's going to come to your life and what's going to be the outcome. And only you can limit yourself. Nobody limits you. Only you limit yourself. And I've learned this having conversations with mentors, self-analysis with myself, meditating by myself, and just all the situations and good things and bad things I've done in my life. It's helped me realize and have these epiphanies of life and business. And I'm just glad to be on the journey to have realized that it's never too late. When I realized that, I was almost 30. Hey, not my age, right? I'm in the 30s. Yeah. But
you're better than a lot of folks, because a lot of folks don't even realize it, man. Never. They're just so blind to it. However, when we're entrepreneurs, we dig into ourselves so we can have that type of personal development. We a lot of us say we lean into that pain. We try to discover more and more about ourselves in order to make ourselves better, so we can become a better leader, and we can be able to go through the hard times of entrepreneurship, the ups and the downs, and also so we can have more faith in the creator. And my, I think that everything is spiritual. So like whatever I feel as though whenever I strengthen myself and my faith in the creator and the universe, I also it also pays dividends within my business as well. So like it's all those things. So the fact that you started when you were 30, or that you did all these things later on in age, that means you got a lot of opportunity to experience life in a different realm. But now that you're here, it's, oh man, you're about to go on the fast track now, baby. I mean, look at what you got. You got 2 companies. And one thing that I forgot in your intro is you have yourself a YouTube page as well. And it's all about legacy. It's about, you leaving your legacy right here on earth. Please tell the people about your YouTube page and everything, how to find it, just what you talk about, everything.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Charles. Yeah, so the YouTube channel came out of me meditating, just thinking on life and saying, well, that there's something more to it, right? After I've talked, saw successful people and talked to mentors and different relationships I built, I said, well, there's more to it. When you have a purpose, you understand your purpose, you find your legacy. Your legacy is in your purpose, and your purpose is within you, and you know it by analyzing the different things that have happened in your life. And you, like you say, the creator will God will leave you clues along the way in your life on which direction and what your purpose is. You don't maybe realize it, but as you're growing up, look back at your life and you'll see the path. You'll see there's things you tended to lean more towards. There's areas that you tended to care more about. Certain types of people maybe you leaned on more, or maybe you didn't lean on more, or maybe certain topics or interests that you were very passionate about, but then for whatever reason, somebody maybe demotivated you, or whatever may have happened along the way. But there's hints there. So that's the first thing. Look for that. That's where your legacy is at. But legacy is all about long term. I think we, in the world of social media, and look at this, a guy who's in marketing, because I'm in marketing, I help people with, our agency helps with social media, branding, all the way up to your website creation, and then even running ads and helping you scale incredibly. But I'm going to keep it real with everyone, right? It's, even though we deal with social media, I understand it as a tool. It's a tool to provide value. But then when you don't realize that, and then you could get caught up in it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you have to realize that it's simply a tool. It's a tool to help you achieve growth and achieve that legacy. So it's a way for you to expand that. And that's where I think a lot of people have to focus on is, okay, once you realize what your legacy is, you have you want to focus on the long-term success, not the short term. But social media nowadays, it tends to lean us towards the short term,
right? The
short term successes. We see the small ones. We see the people how they are today, and some of it isn't even 100% the way you think it is, and it's a lot of perception. So I want people, through the channel, I was trying to say, well, you know what? I want people to focus and maybe resonate and meditate like me on legacy. I want them to think, or if they didn't think about it before, I want to bring it in a refreshing way based on my experiences, people that I know, mentors that I've dealt with, and bring that to the videos so that they can realize, okay, am I really leaving a legacy, or what am I leaving? What have I created so far? Like if I were to be gone today, what would people say about Giovanni? What would people say about Charles at the end of the day when it's all said and done? What impact, right? This is the key factor. What impact did I really leave? Was it all about me? Was my whole life always just about me and my riches and my fame and my all me, and that egotistical, which is fine. You could take that path, and that could be your legacy. That's what you decide, right? That's the cool thing. You decide on what you want to do. But did you really, how many people did you impact? That's the way I see it. I want to leave my legacy as in, I want to impact as many people in a positive way possible and help them change their lives and be the best they can be.
Amen. Amen. And that's exactly what you're doing. Like not only are you helping people with their business, but in the long run, when you help someone make more money, then let's go back. When you help someone serve more people, then that helps their clients, you know what I mean? Where their clients are having a better life, but then they make more money and therefore they have a better quality of life as well. So your legacy reaches far beyond you can even see, which you already know with your businesses. But then add on top of that to give content, to give inspirational content, and to document your journey on how you are becoming a better speaker over time. That's beautiful because we know where you are now. But, I think it was Jim Rohn. No, yeah, it was Jim Rohn that says like people underestimate, they underestimate what they can do or they overestimate what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what they can do in months or a year. You know what I mean? So years from now, when you have all this content on your YouTube, as far as YouTube videos, and people are coming to you for motivation, that's, for years after, you're 30, you're in your 30s now. So that's at least another 60 years. You know what I mean? After that 60 years, people can still go to your page and look for Giovanni for that light that they need, that for someone to speak life into them, like the greats, like a Dr. Eric Thomas or a Gary Vaynerchuk or a Jim Rohn, man. So good on you for starting on that journey, bro.
No, I appreciate it. And I think you touched a good point there that now more than ever, you can cement your legacy and be it good or not, it will be known.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't realize that. Like you just said, if I put content out there, it will outlast me. Remember that, guys. The content you create, the legacy you build will outlast you. Be it good or bad, whatever you put out there, make sure you put it out there with the best intentions and with the highest quality that you possibly can in that moment. Because like he said, like Charles just said, when you look back on it, maybe 10, 20 years from now, you don't know how the world's going to have changed. But that I'll tell you now for sure, their data is still going to be important or more important now, then than it is now. So you have to really focus on what are you really leaving behind. Like that's why I think a lot of people, when they put all this crazy content out there on their personal lives and all these crazy photos and like cool, that's cool, right? You could maybe share that personally with people, but putting it out there, you have to remember you're leaving it all out there for everybody to see, and that's going to eventually become what your legacy is.
That short-term thinking, man, it's something that I feel like it's more of a pandemic than coronavirus is right now, man. That we don't think like about how things are going to affect us long term and how we can affect people long term as well. What we say, it's not about what we say, it's about how we make people feel. But the things that we say can make people feel a certain type of way. So the content that we put out there, how we approach people, just our energy in general. That's why it's so important to do that personal development and work on yourself and care. And I think that's your superpower more than anything is that you care. And it's coming to light in a totally different way. So are you still working with your brother nowadays?
That what?
Are you still working with your brother?
Well, my brother?
Are you still working with your brother in your companies?
Oh, you mean my brother-in-law?
Oh, brother-in-law. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, my brother-in-law actually, he's the one that inspired me initially to get into it. And yes, he is actually And one of the companies is actually my client, so I provide value to him through one of the companies. So yeah, and we still talk, and we throw ideas off each other and what we're doing in terms of like investing and new ideas and what we're up to, and obviously look at new strategies and different things. We talk still, and now it's just from there. I'm grateful because there's sometimes you need that push, right? That helpful push from somebody to help you get going. And hopefully, I could be that for one person or a lot of people to help them get to that next level, to help them start creating their legacy, to help them start building something great, and using, that purpose and their talents that because we all have something. We all have talents to give. We all have something that we're able to give and value. We just gotta, fine tune, and like I said, look into ourselves and see where it's at, and then start developing it. Like, for example, right now, me jumping on this call with you is a form of me, pushing forward and taking action and developing, for example, my speaking ability, my ability to be on camera, right? Every opportunity, there's something for you to form yourself in. And right, you're doing the same as you continue to do each podcast episode. You become more better. You look for opportunities to improve. You get better along the way. You start providing more value and looking for ways to change things up to make it more interesting, etc. So we always that's the mindset I think we should all have, and looking to make those tweaks, and how can I continue to level up and provide more value along the way as you keep growing.
That's what's up. With your business, what has been like the most common thing that people lack when they come to you?
Wow. The most common thing that people lack. Are you saying, well, from a client perspective, I would say is a clear, like the clear focus. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes it's like, and understanding the process. I think that's one of the hardest things to get through, is that some people don't understand, like we were talking about earlier, the short term versus the long term. Yeah. That ability to understand that is sometimes a challenge, because like we were talking about before, a lot of people want things now. Mm-hmm. They want the results, but everything has its time, and everything you gotta let it develop. It's no overnight successes. Everybody has their process, and you got to go through it. Just the same way with marketing. I think some people just think you're going to come in. Well, there is exceptions if you got data, but that's a different conversation. But if you're really just, trying to make a big adjustment, or really haven't started in something, and like, for example, marketing strategies, then it's a challenge. You're not going to get that quick. You have to develop it out. You got to there's a lot of things that you have to let it run. You'll see results, and then you continue to put fire on what's working, and understanding that long term versus the short term. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes the most difficult aspect.
So trusting the process. So like you said, maybe not even knowing the process, like, oh, I want to have that immediate gratification. You promised me that I was going to XYZ, you know what I mean? And it's like, bruh, take it, like, give it some time. You know what I mean? Like, this is a business that you're growing in. A lot of businesses, a majority of businesses don't make it 5 years or something of that nature.
Exactly.
So it's like, for someone to even be operating right now and in the early stages, and to be working on amazing, outstanding skills like branding and marketing and messages and all these things that you're helping, and sales, all these things that you're helping people with, like it's one of those things where it's a skill that's grown over time. And once they do get that data, once they do get those skills and take advantage of opportunities, then there would be a better system that they can follow, so they can get the clients that they want when they want, for that matter. But like, man, nobody wanted, like, it sucks. That's the thing where personal development comes from too, is patience, knowing that, and having faith that what you're doing is for a reason. It's for a cause. Like, I'm a big supporter and almost a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about patience, how like me, I started giving sessions for free back in 2020. You know what I mean? Last year, because I just knew like that was what Gary Vaynerchuk said. So it's going to lead me to different opportunities in business development. But more than anything, it honed my skills, and I'm the person and the practitioner that I am is because I practiced that patience. I was humble, and I was able to trust the process enough to go through it and then come out on the other side more abundant and confident and prosperous than ever. So yeah, that the process is so important for people to understand. We could make a course on that. Hey, like you got to make a video on that, bro. You got to make a video on that on the YouTube.
I mean,
page,
you're speaking truth. I mean, it's patience is one of the most important virtues. I think it's probably one of the most underrated things people talk about. You know, but it's one of the most important. Patience. It's waiting your time, planting the seeds, and waiting for the harvest. You don't plant and expect to see a mango tree in a week, do you? No, it makes no sense. So why would you plant in your business and expect certain things in a week or 2 weeks or even a month? I talk about this a lot on certain calls, and it's putting your skin in the game, right? You have to understand that some things just take time, and you putting skin in the game, and eventually things will come to fruition. But some things won't. Some things will just take more time. You have to understand that. Keep your focus, keep your consistency, and your patience aligned. I think those are two more very important aspects that sometimes people fall in one of the two. It's like, okay, I'm patient, but then they don't stay consistent, or they're consistent, but then they get impatient. But if you can align those two and then work hard and make sure those two stay aligned, you will achieve a lot of great things.
100%. All those are just life lessons, not just in business, but life lessons. But you know, business is life. You know what I mean? What makes you the most happy? Like what brings us what is the apple of your, or what's the apple to your eye, and what just puts a smile on your face?
Wow, really, it's connecting with people in a genuine way, and knowing that when I left that person, that room, that conversation, that they could still be smiling even when I'm not in the room, thinking about the conversation we just had. That to me is really big. Is that, like I said, like I'm talking about legacy, right? And that's what I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind where, you know, when I talk with somebody, that they feel that I've been genuine, that they feel right, that they can trust me, that they feel like I'm really trying to provide value, and that they could see that, feel that, and want to, you know, basically make additional connections after that, because I was able to open up and help them maybe understand things that, you know, they didn't understand previously, or maybe, you know, we both learned something from each other and we were both able to, right? Because that's I think one of the main purposes is when I get on a call, I want to provide value, but it's always good to also receive value and exchange it, because we all have different experiences that we can learn from each other. I think that's important, that we don't get into that, you know, that vibe of like, oh, you know, I've got this business or that business, so I know more than this person or that person. It's not about that. It's that everybody had their specific experiences and personal life traumas and good things that happen that will help us learn from each other. I think that's important. But basically, it's me, when every time I leave a room or somebody, and I leave a conversation, that I left a powerful impact, that, you know, when I leave that room, it's not like, oh man, this Gio, this guy. No, it's a genuine satisfaction, and I feel like that's important for me.
Man, you so impressive with how you're always ready and willing to serve, bro. Like, good on you, man. Like, I'm so blessed to have had this encounter and met you, bro. Thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment, but thank you so much for what you have brought to me and the beautiful energy that you brought to the podcast and to my life.
It.
So on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and teach you a technique that can help you cope. And that technique is a neuro linguistic programming technique called mental and emotional release. Now, if any of you listeners out there or watchers out there are wanting to do the mental and emotional release process, by all means, do it with a practitioner of neuro linguistic programming. And if you want to hear more about it, if you want to learn more about it, I have a free case study video at eliminatinginsecuritiesnow.com. Once again, that's eliminatinginsecuritiesnow.com. And you go ahead and watch the free case study video. But you today, Giovanni, you wanted to get rid of the fear of judgment. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I feel like in one point or another, I feel like a lot of people get this. I think just some people are able to get over it, on their own. And then some people, it stays with them for a while. For me, it was with me a lot during my high school years, very strongly, university a bit, and extended through. Now it sometimes pops up, right? Which is why I mentioned it. Because it's like, I feel like as I grew up, I wasn't, it was funny because I was Latin, Puerto Rican, but at the same time, I was like this. I had this like unique exotic. I was like this exotic mix, right? Because I was like looking like a Prince of Egypt, and then like, well, are you like Egyptian? Or are you Latin? And it was funny, and I would just like sometimes I had that, and that it started developing me like a fear, like of people judging me off of how I looked or what I did. It also came into play maybe a little bit of how I grew up, right? The way I was brought up, where I was a little bit insecure. And then that brought on like fear of what people would say about me, or when I said something, would they laugh, or would they then when I left the conversation, would they, talk about me in a negative way? All of that was, even though, it wasn't true, or I didn't have a reason to think that way, sometimes that would attack me, like especially in my high school transitioning to university. That was one of the things I had to deal with. And that's when I started realizing, you know what? I just gotta be myself, not worry about what other people think, right? Or what other people say, or if they want to judge me, that's their issue. I just gotta worry about, me. And as time went on and I kept maturing, it started becoming better. But it was always something that I fought with during, me coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how did it like, and you described like all these different scenarios. So how did it make you feel on the inside to, have this fear, that people might be judging you? Did it give you some type of anxiety? Did it make you feel lonely? Like, how did it feel?
A lot of times it felt like there was like this big, it was like a big fear, right? Like it was like this big fear that would make me like freeze up. And I would like feel very insecure. It started raising a lot of insecurities in me, and what, what would people think about me, or what are they saying? What might they be saying about me, or, and then it was just creating more insecurities in me, which obviously is not helpful. So that's that's what I would feel the most. A lot of insecurity and a lot of fear in certain conversations, like for me to speak what I really thought because of the fear of judgment.
Now you're out there more. I mean, you have more exposure now more than ever. Do you ever feel that fear nowadays? Just like a twinge of it, or does it ever impact you at all nowadays?
Well, it does sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it does pop up every now and then. Especially it depends. Like it depends on the type of scenario I'm in now. Like now, most of the scenarios it doesn't pop up as much as before. But like some scenarios where it's like maybe a big client that I may, have a possibility of working with, or somebody, a big opportunity in any of the businesses, or stuff like that. It would sometimes still creep up, like, oh, what are they gonna, what are they gonna think of me? Are they gonna see the value in what I'm saying? Am I gonna, all that fear of judgment of what if, sometimes will pop up.
Got you. Understood. Cool. So what we're going to do with the mental and emotional release process, we're going to help you release it. It's a simple guided meditation. So with the guided meditation, I'll do the talking, you do the walking, super easy. There's only 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, you got to use your imagination. Number two, you got to follow directions just like you follow a recipe. And number three is you got to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide and I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly.
All right.
All right. Now, with that, we created your timeline. With your timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. If you were to know, where is your past?
Behind me.
Where's your future?
Right in front of me.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and get into it. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this fear of judgment today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
Awesome. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt the fear of judgment when you were just a little boy?
Oh, wow. When I was little. Well, maybe in certain groups with like my cousins or certain family members, I would feel it like, what would they say? Or, am I saying the right things in certain conversations? Yeah.
How old were you?
Wow. Maybe like 10, that age between like 10 to 12, maybe.
Can you go back a little bit further when you were even younger?
Truth be told, I don't know if what it is, but I don't really like remember a lot from those like younger years. Like what I remember, the closest, most earliest memory of that, of like a fear of judgment, is that one when I was like around maybe 9 or 10, and that, with my family members and close cousins and stuff, that fear of them judging me on what I was saying or how I would react to certain things.
Perfect. Let's say it's around 9 years old, right?
Okay.
Cool. So that's a great one. You can go ahead and close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process to drop your baggage.
Ready to go.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt that fear of judgment when you were just a little kid. See your cousins, see everybody around, see the whole event, and just hover over that event, watching the whole event, seeing yourself. Let me know when you can see the event.
Yeah.
Okay. Now stay right there, seeing that whole event. Now, just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event. The learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. This is an exercise of forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiveness for yourself and others, and acceptance of yourself and others. Who do you have to forgive? What do you have to accept? Who do you have to accept? Focus your attention upon how hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser and learn from their actions and mistakes. Other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It's only a reflection of their baggage and whatever they're going through at the time. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. You're a better person than you were when that event occurred. What is something positive and empowering you can tell yourself as that little kid and your cousins and everyone else involved in the event with the consciousness that you have today that will allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone.
They're gone.
Awesome. Now, with your eyes closed and you hovering above the event, what is something that you learned from that event?
That people may judge you in the moment or say things, but really at the end of the day, you have to learn that it's people have different situations, and that whatever they say to you in that moment may not be who or what you really are in that moment. You have to determine that for yourself and not let others' opinions and what they may be going through affect you.
That's right. Also, looking at that event, what is something that you can take with that event and then take with you into the future for you to be a better person?
Always look to not prejudge or judge others, and not put them in that type of situation like I was put in, and teach my future generations and other people that I come in contact with the importance of not relaying judgment onto others so that they don't provoke a fear of judgment.
That's right. Very good. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, just imagine as you're above the dinosaurs, float deeper and deeper and deeper into space, to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah.
And as you float there, just imagine floating there, weightless, in space. And ask yourself now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared now?
No, they're not there.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating down inside the event, seeing through your own eyes as a little boy, and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared now?
No, not there.
Awesome. Float back above the dinosaurs and then float into space, to where space and the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
There.
Listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you feel that charge of that fear of judgment. Preserve the learnings and let go of that fear of judgment all the way back to now. Go.
Yeah, it's gone.
Awesome. Flow down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back. how do you feel?
Hey, it was good. I feel good, man. Yes.
That's what's up. Let's test it out. So, do you smell popcorn? Or I'm sorry, do you smell bacon?
Bacon, no.
Okay. That I just wanted to get your mind off of the meditation. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
No, I can remember, but no.
Yeah. Good. I want you to imagine going out into the future, to an unspecified time in the future, in which if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt a fear of judgment. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
No.
Congratulations. You just released that fear of judgment.
Great, man. Let's go.
All right. So a lot of people out there have not experienced mental and emotional release yet. Can you kind of tell people what you just went through and how it feels?
Yeah, I mean it's cool to like you said, go and close your eyes and just go out, right? And then sort of see those experiences and then just try to understand, and let it go. At the end of the day, understand that it happened, but just let it go and realize how you're going to become better once you let it go. So I think that it's a good exercise, because some people have to, go back and maybe revisit those memories so that they can then really let it go and then just move forward with life and understand that, it's over, and now you can let that go and go on to greater things.
Mhm. And did you see that do you feel as though you have a deeper understanding of what you went through in the past?
I mean, yeah, because you start to focus more so on the event, on why maybe that happened, and realize that some people maybe do things and they may understand that it's wrong or they may not. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we have control over how we react, right, to those situations. So I think that's the eye opener, is us realizing that it doesn't matter what happens. Really, what matters is how we react to what happens.
So, like, with you seeing that now, how do you feel about those events from the past, whether it be with your cousins or because you were, a bit different than others or look different than others? How do you see those events now, or how do you feel about those events now?
Yeah, now I just see them as like building blocks, right? As ways of experiences that have helped, make me stronger maybe in other areas. And I just have to look at it as something that, if that maybe not wouldn't have happened, maybe I wouldn't have formed certain characteristics that have helped me become successful today. So I think of it like that.
Wow. So it helps you bring a certain amount of gratitude for what has happened in the past.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like you gotta be thankful because sometimes you may not understand it, but maybe what happened in that past helped you, become better, even though you didn't realize it.
Yeah, the universe unfolds perfectly, and we go through everything for a reason. And for you to go through that just turned you into the rock star that you are now, living in Puerto Rico and having multiple businesses. It's like
Exactly.
it's turned you into a beast in the long run.
Exactly.
That is so cool. Moving on. How do you feel about, like, okay, so now taking things a little forward, let's move forward into if foreshadowing or future pacing. How do you see yourself looking at those big execs or those potential contracts now, where you feel as though you might have to size them up, or they may be sizing you up?
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, Charles. I gotta
No
make
worries.
sure I don't fall out on you here.
Okay, no, yeah, yo, computer dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was wondering, like, where's he going?
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, because like when as far as future pacing, we know that things that bothered us in the past are going to happen again. I knew that I was going to get on a sales call. I used to have a fear of judgment or a fear of rejection for going into sales. I thought I was going to just be known as some pushy salesman, but so going into so after releasing that fear of judgment and that fear of rejection, it makes me go into sales calls with more confidence, knowing that I provide great value, knowing that that person's opinion isn't a true reflection of who I am. It's only a reflection of their mindset. So how do you feel about those that potential sales call with those people that could give you a big contract now?
No, I feel like the I shouldn't have to fear, them judging me or me, saying something that I shouldn't, because at the end of the day, what matters is that I got prepared. I did the best that I could. I went in there, gave my 100%. Whatever happens, happens. And as long as I know that I gave my best, you take it as a learning experience. If I get the contract, great. And if not, I learn from it and keep pushing forward.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. A self-acceptance that makes you so much more dangerous, because that can help you take risks. And like when you give a certain type of energy, like I need something, then obviously the counter to that is somebody gonna want to back away. And it's kind of like that high school girlfriend, you know what I mean? You like really really want her, you get all this like attention to her, and she's like,
Yeah.
get out of here, you creep. Yeah. So yeah, like that energy is definitely going to help a lot. Is there any other part of your life where you feel as though it may help to get rid of this fear of judgment as well?
Well, I mean, I think fear of judgment can attack you in social conversations, right? So I think now, when I'm talking, maybe even socially, just knowing somebody on a personal level, you know what? They may like some of the things that I find valuable and beliefs, or they may not. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me because I don't have to fear what they think. I just got to accept myself for who I am. And then, if they don't agree with something or a certain belief or values or whatever it may be, well, that's their decision. I can't really control them. I can control myself.
Look at you. Yeah, right there. It's like, it is what it is, partner. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. That's what's up. Man, thank you so much, Giovanni, for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Charles, for having me here, for letting me share my experience, for bringing the hype man, and with that great intro. I appreciate you and everybody who's listening, and I hope they got. I know they'll get value from this. I know they're going to get a lot of value from this conversation, and I didn't even mention though that for anybody who wants to connect, even you, right? Anybody else. We didn't really talk about it, but I'm also one of the founders of a global network. So people who want to, network globally with people, it's called the Unity Business Network. We're happy to have you come into one of our meetings where once a month we have people from all over the world, from, Croatia, UK, Canada, US, South America, all different parts of Europe, everywhere come in and get to know each other and provide value and see what opportunities there are on a global scale. So that's something else I didn't mention that we're also a part of. So just staying busy and trying to give back and leave the right type of legacy.
100%, 100%. Love it. I'll go ahead and join you on one of those for sure. What's the name of the group one more time?
Unity Business Network, UBN.
Yeah, UBN, Unity Business Network. Hey, you guys go over there and check him out and come to a meeting with him and see what kind of great value he's bringing over there with his community. Please give the audience. I mean, you've already given us so much great value, but please, can you give us one more word of wisdom?
Yeah, my words of wisdom. The main thing I would tell everybody is just main takeaway: be patient. You're gonna get there. Whatever you're planning to do, as long as you're working hard, you remain consistent. Like we spoke of, remain consistent. Don't give up, no matter who comes and tells you, whatever it may be, others' opinions, or stay consistent. If you've identified that's your purpose, stay with it, remain consistent, patient, and your hard work, will pay off. It will pay off. And just make sure as you continue to grow, make the right relationships, build with the right people around you. They'll take you farther a lot quicker. And just make sure you make the right type of connections. Stay open to making the right type of connections. Don't box yourself in with a certain thought process just because you've been raised a certain way. I've learned to be open-minded, be receptive, respect others, even though they may think differently, but always keep an open mind because you never know what you'll learn and how they'll be able to maybe be the stepping stone to that next level you're looking for. So be persistent, consistent, go build that legacy. And I hope to see you guys on the way up there.
I love it. Man. You're such an OG. So, and thank you guys out there for listening. I really appreciate your attention and your support. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. If you are on any podcast platform, please subscribe and give a brother 5 stars and give me some feedback as well. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, go out there and drop your baggage. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.